Hi, welcome back. This is video 2 of Venom versus Spider-Man, and this is the colored version. So, this piece is basically just me coloring in the inked piece that I worked on last week, and I'm using my Copic markers. I'll be using Prismacolor pencils and a white gel pen, and it'll be fully colored in and just completed so I could work on my other projects. Sometimes I have a little trouble like with the color process of my art piece, trying to make sure that I'm using the right colors, try to find the colors that blend well together. And with these markers, it was actually, very smooth transitions, very easy to work with these markers. And so, the marker portion, it was always a lot easier. They cover very quickly, and then I can kind of layer them once they've dried. Which it's very easy to start layering. It's a very quick process once they dry. So, the marker portion of all of my color videos, they really don't take me that long to do. So I always try to get that done first. Usually when I'm working with my art pieces, I try to get all the easiest parts done first, so I could kind of be like, okay, yeah, I'm making progress, just need to finish up the art piece. And then after I work on the marker part of the videos and the art pieces, then I go back with my Prismacolor color pencils and I do my touch-ups, accents, highlights, things of that nature. And I find it easy to layer those Prismacolor color pencils on top of these Copic markers, mainly because the leads in the color pencils are really soft, so they're easier to blend. And then afterwards, like the very last part of the process is going in with like the white gel pen and basically putting in the final highlights. And so when I get to that part, that's like the most exciting part, because just you can go into your art piece and go over it and go over it and go over it, but like when you see that final bit of like the white gel pen and it really makes everything pop, it kind of ties everything together and just makes everything seem very flawless. So, there's always a process, that you'll go through as an artist to find what's like the quickest and easiest way, and also what works for you regarding your art, and like how you can finish a piece of art. And it's just a learning process. You'll find what works best for you. Some people want to do their color pencils first and then the markers. That doesn't always make sense to me because of the texture of the paper and how time-consuming colored pencils can be, especially if you're using the wrong paper. And sometimes I forget, because I'm so used to using like mixed media paper and watercolor paper for everything that I'm doing, that sometimes when I get into my colored pencils and I want to do a colored pencil piece, sometimes it takes me even longer to complete those pieces because the paper is not the right paper. And so marker paper and watercolor paper have more of a textured tooth to those papers. So if you're using soft lead color pencils, you're going to have to put more down. You're going to have to put more pressure. There's going to be more layers. It's going to be more time consuming, as opposed to if you use like a Bristol paper, which is better for dry media like color pencils and pencils, charcoal and graphite. So with this paper, this was my Canson mixed media paper, which is good for markers and for dry media. So I always lay my markers down first, and then I'll go in with my color pencils, you know, just to kind of, you know, beef up the colors and put in all the little accents and things of that nature. So, you know, as I get fuller into the video, you'll kind of see how everything is starting to tie together. And some of these like darker areas that are like bigger blocks of color, solid color, you could always go in and you can take the color pencil and just kind of give it almost like a different look. You can add a little more dimension, a little more accent, and like an aesthetic, like a better aesthetic to just leaving things flat. So, you know, I'm going in here with like, you know, a silver metallic color pencil, and then certain parts of Venom's eye, I'm using like a gold color pencil. And it's really nice to experiment with your art supplies, because sometimes you don't realize how far you could push your art supplies until you actually just do it. Sometimes you'll have to go back in and just kind of refresh your ink work, and that's really not too big of a deal if you're using, you know, your inks and stuff first, and then you do all the color portions, you know, after the fact. It's not too much to go back over your lines. The other thing too about this art piece was I am using a new camera. My GoPro that I was using for my previous videos, it was really buggy, and the app that I was using was really buggy. So I had to figure out like what kind of camera to use. I had to do my research. So in the description box below will be the link of basically the description of the new camera that I'm using. And so I'll be having more overhead shots of like the art videos. It just better quality. And you know, with my videos, I'm also constantly moving my paper around, my sketchbook around. So you know, it's not just going to be one dead on shot. It's, you know, multiple angles, but you know, that's realistic. Like when you are working on a piece of art, you're not just stiff in one spot. So you're going to go and turn your paper, and you're going to want to, you know, get to, you know, basically move your hand around, let your wrist be somewhat loose when you're working. That way your art pieces aren't so stiff. And I try to have a lot of fluidity and movement in my art. And you know, I'm still learning a lot of things as an artist. So over time, you know, looking back over the videos, you know, it will definitely show, you know, how far I've come. So that is also an excellent thing about being able to use this platform to, you know, basically document my art journey. And I'm just going to go ahead and leave this here and let you watch the rest of the video. If you need to get a hold of me, or you have any comments or requests, you can look at my contact information in the description box below. And don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell notification so you are updated for all the new videos that are coming out. And I will see you next time. Bye.